Hey YouTube, Adam Hodston here, back again for another Airsoft video review. It's been quite a long time, I realise. It's because I've been focusing a lot more on my career, which I've now gotten sorted. I'm now a qualified fitness instructor and fitness consultant, so got all that sorted. But I've not had a lot of chance to play Airsoft, which is why there's not been any reviews. But recently, got my butt in gear, gotten back into it, even got the missus going. Brilliant fun. But because of that, I did have to sell a few of my weapons. I've gotten some new ones though, all good to go. And today we're actually going to look at one of them, which is this. It's my Mac 10. It's an ASG one, so it's a clone of Tokyo Marui. The website I got it from, Airsoft World, cheers guys, had it on sale for, I think it was $79.99, and I believe they stated it as an, what was it? It's a JG Mac 10. So yeah, it was okay. Price wise, it was nice and good. It was cheap. It was primarily meant for a sidearm, but unfortunately in one of my skirmishes my L85 couldn't be used because it was running too hot and I had a massive hot problem. Trying to have a look at the hop up unit now, see if I can fix it, but it's not my specialty. So I was running around with this all day, which is not ideal, but it was surprisingly cool. So when you get the gun, you get it in the box. Obviously I'm not going through it because if you want to look at the box, buy the gun, look at someone else's review, I really don't care. You get the gun, you get with it a high capacity magazine which holds 480 rounds. You get your battery, which is a mini battery, which is an AEP one, because it's a battery operated gun, not gas. You also get obviously a charger, and you get a suppressor, and blah, blah, BBs, and manual, blah, 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 cleaning rod, all that crap. But yeah. So yeah, like I said, it's an electric one. A lot of people, when I had this on site, they thought it was a gas one, and they were very, very surprised because looking at it, it looks very, very similar to some of the ones that you've got out there that are gas blowback versions. But if you live in a colder climate, it's really, really useful to have the electric ones because they're going to be a lot more reliable, they're going to be cheaper to run, and again, you can use it in pretty much everything. It's primarily made of plastic. I'm not going to go into what it is because one, I don't know, and two, I don't care. It's plastic. If you want metal, fine, it's got some metal parts. If you want it all metal, meh. Doesn't always have to be all metal. But metal wise, so you've got your outer barrel, you've got your front sling mount, your front sight, charging handle, you've got your magazine release, couple of screws, and your extendable stock. So yeah. But yeah, features of the gun: fires semi-automatic and fully automatic, hop-up adjustment, all that normal stuff. But we'll move from the front backwards and take it from there. So you've got your front outer barrel here. You've got some threads on it as standard, which can be used to mount in your suppressor. Now, at the moment, it's not loaded. It is got the battery in it. It's got some charge. Surprising thing is, though, once you screw it on, it does increase the size of it, especially if you extend the size of your stock. About the same sort of size as my L85, as a matter of fact. So fairly long, but the suppressor does have a small effect on it. Bear in mind, it's not loaded, so it's going to be a bit louder. But if I take it off safe and fire, for example, a little bit more muffled, but if I take the suppressor back off again, a little bit louder because you can hear the gearbox. It's more of a silly, fun feature, but kind of cool. All made of plastic, but whatever. If you don't want to, you can always just unscrew even more of the outer barrel, because the front part does come off, where you can see some different threading here, so you could whack on flash hiders and smaller suppressors, whatever you fancy. To be fair, I quite like it as it is. And you don't often see many people running around with these sorts of things anyway, so it's more of a feature. You've also got your front sling mount, which is here. You could get on, you might have seen on Call of Duties or Counter-Strike, I don't know. You might have seen some of like the grips that you can get a hold of made of material. You can get those, doesn't come with it as standard, but you can again source it if you want. So yeah, about that. On the very top of the gun, you've got your charging handle. As most guns are, pull it back, exposes your hop up where the bullets would normally be ejected, which is here. Standard hop design, but it's a bigger wheel. Turn it towards the back, the rear of the gun, it gives you more hop up. To push it forwards, gives you less. And just spring it forwards, and it goes. Doesn't sound fantastic, but it's again a nice feature to have on there, but you can mainly use it for accessing your hop up. On this side of the gun here, you've got your selector switch for semi-automatic over here. Click it over, full auto. In fully automatic, it enough spray pretty well. And obviously semi, as fast as you can pull the trigger. Good trigger response, really, really good. What I found with my particular version though, it loves going to semi-automatic. Going into full auto, it's not stiff, but it just takes a little bit more persuasion. It's got more of a feeling to it, but it likes to just swing back over to semi mode. Just it feels a little bit more comfy there, I'm guessing. The gun likes it. Got a nice positive click to it as well. So you can always hear if you're going to be changing it. Well, you should do anyway. On the opposite side of the gun, right in front of your trigger guard, which is made of plastic, you've got your rail system. So if you wanted, you could put on all sorts of different things, from scopes to scopes. Why would you put a scope on the bottom? Lasers, flashlights, whatever. But you will also want to be able to fire it. So for that, you've got to do two things. One, you'll obviously have to take it off of safe mode, which is here, just in front of your trigger guard. Push it forwards, it's in fire. Put it towards you, and it's in safe. Putting it into fire on my version is really, really stiff. It might just need a little bit of lubing and oiling, but it's quite a stiff thing. I'm not sure if it's my one, but hey ho. So that's what you have to do. Good placement, but if you have it on safe and you put your finger in there and you're not ready, you can scrape it up, but again, who cares? But you need to make sure your battery's in so you can fire it. So to do that, you've got a little pin here which is hiding. Just push it in, and then it'll become exposed a little bit. And then just underneath your rail system there's a little kind of buttony lever thing. Just push it more in towards the gun, and your front assembly here will come off, where you can see your outer barrel. Pull on the little tab and you can pull out your battery, which, as I said, is the mini AEP one, which is a 7.2 volt 650 milliamp battery. Again, because it's a clone of a Tokyo Marui model, it will accept all of the TM parts, so you can get their batteries, their magazines, all sorts of things for it, even internally. You could wire it up so it's on a different battery system, so it's easier if you fancy. I like it as it is, and again, as a sidearm, you're probably not going to be using it too much unless your main goes down, or if you run out of ammo, or you need something quick. But again, fairly cool. Don't see these often in the field, so it's a nice thing anyway. So yeah, you've got all of that. So once you get your battery in, you can take it off safe, select your mode, fire. You've also got a couple of little markings on it as well, which is Ingram M10, which stands for Mac 10, SWD Incorporated, Atlanta, GA, USA. And you've also got your ASG marking up there for the guys that make it, as well as your safe and safe and fire, semi, full auto, and you've also got a little serial number, which is just on the grip. Don't know if it's individual, don't care. Whatever. Feels quite comfy when you hold it in your hand. Bit weird at first, and you may also find that because of the way that the trigger guard is, if you don't hold it correctly, you will end up having your finger just on top of it and it rubs and it gets a bit uncomfy. But after time and practice, it's not so bad. Magazine release, as I said, is on the grip just here. Little buttony bit, so you just push that down and you can take out your magazine. So it does come as standard with a high capacity magazine. You should probably all know how to use them, but in case you don't, just open up the little tab on the top here, pour in all your BBs, blah, 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 wind your wheel at the bottom, fire. Don't like high caps myself. I did buy another one just because I needed a backup anyway. But yeah, as again, because it's a Tokyo Marui one, you can get all of the mid-cap magazines and such as well, which I've got one here. I think this one holds 68 rounds from Tokyo Marui. Cool thing is it's got the little ball bit just up here, and what that'll do is that'll feed every single round in. So every single one will go up there and be used, as opposed to fire, pull it out, and if a couple fall out. It's a shame they don't have this on all of them, because on every single gun, that would be brilliant. And yes, it'd save a bit of money, but it's nicer because you know when you're out of ammo properly. And you've also got on the mid cap the fake feeder here, which pushes down just for style and looks. With the high caps though, you still do the same thing, pull the little lever down and pull it out, but it does take a little bit more force. Not stiff, it's just, it's definitely in place and it's not going anywhere. With the mid cap on the other hand, nice and light, good and smooth. It's got a tiny bit of wobble, but you can just push it and it will come out. But because of the positioning of it, it's very unlikely that you'd ever do that accidentally, which is great. And then obviously on the back, you've got your rear sight system. Not a big fan of it, but you're supposed to look through these apertures here, look at the front sight post if you can see, probably a funny angle, and then fire. But a lot of people don't use it for that. Now what I've actually been using it for is a sling point hook. I got a single point sling, which was for it, after trying an MP5K and Mac 10 one. Didn't work at all because the placement of it was terrible, didn't fit the magazines and everything. So I've got the single point sling here, which I've had to file down to fit it in here, which now clips in perfectly. So you can just have it hooked over your body. Obviously you'd have it all the way around. Have it hanging by your side, and it's really good to swing out for when you need it. Magazines though, because they are so large, it's about the size of a Thompson mag really. So they're very, very big. It's hard to find pouches for them. So you can use Thompson ones and all that sort of stuff. But what I've been using, surprisingly, is a P90 magazine pouch. It's got two little holders in it. This one's made by Viper. So you could pop in a magazine in the front and a magazine in the rear. So you can hold two, one in the gun so you're all ready to go. And that way you've got your mag pouch sorted. Works very, very well. And then finally, towards the rear of the gun, you've got your sling point. You've got your stock. Made of metal. Little bit loose, but again, it's not going to go anywhere unless you tell it to. And to do that, you've got little thin bits on the bottom of it. You just push those in together and you can freely swing it and lock it in place. So you've got it here. You can have it really, really close in if you fancy it, which would be a bit awkward. Or there's a little button just here, just towards the rear of the gun. You push that in and you can extend your stock even further. So that's it in its longest position, so you can have it a lot easier. But because of the way that the metal stock is, it does slip a little bit on clothing. Not very comfortable, but again, hey ho, who cares? This is Airsoft. If you want, you can even fully remove it and give it a completely different look by, again, still pushing your button. Just pull the stock out completely and it gives it an entirely new look, even with the suppressor on. I personally prefer it with the stock on. So again, you just push the little button, flick it in. To me, it looks nicer. Again, hey ho, who cares? And to be fair, that is about it with regards to this weapon. So like I said, really, really good rate of fire, as you probably heard when I put it on fully automatic. But feet per second wise, surprisingly, it's not bad for a backup weapon as an AEP. You're going to be looking anywhere between 200 and 230 feet per second out the box. Roughly where mine was when I got it chronoed. Even if it was a cold day, because it was snowing, it was freezing, couldn't feel my hands. Very, very good day though. But yeah, feet per second wise, fairly average for what is basically a sidearm, and considering it's electric, that's very impressive. Range wise as well, you've also got your barrel, let's take this off, which goes from around here to here. Fairly short, but range wise you're looking okay at about sort of 40-50 meters. A bit hard to hit. Further than that, you can still hit a target, but it's a bit hit and miss because, again, short barrel, but you can do modifications to it, take off the upper receiver and change things over from there. But it is primarily meant as a sidearm, so close quarters kind of stuff if you're in urban is great, but also if you need a backup weapon just for, again, close quarters, or if you're a sniper, perfect example if you happen to be a sniper and you need to have a backup weapon because you can't fire it at close ranges. This is going to be good because, again, okay range, but you've got semi-automatic like a pistol, but you've also got full auto, and because you can take, if you really want, high cap mags, you can have 480 rounds in one of these, or you can have flawless feeding through a mid cap like this and just spray, and it's a really, really satisfying weapon to do. And because you don't often see them on the field, because a lot of them are gas versions, which go through gas guzzlers like you've never seen. That's what they're called, gas guzzlers. It's a really, really cool thing. A lot of people will drop their jaws thinking, oh my god, it's a gas version, let me have a go. Tell them it's battery, and it's like, you're kidding me. But it's a fairly good weapon. So I'll give you a little quick shooting test. My target is quite a good distance away, way over there. I'm not going to do impact tests because I can't be bothered. So normally when you fire, you would want to have on airsoft glasses just to protect your eyes. But because my target is a long way away, I'm going to be okay here. But I highly recommend wearing glasses whenever you shoot. I'll also show you what it's like with a suppressor on as well. So what I'm going to do, stock out for comfort. Mid-cap magazine because I prefer it. You don't have to do that, but I like it. So it's semi-automatic without suppressor. Still fairly quiet, but if you whack on your suppressor on the other hand, just screw the baby on, it will muffle your shots just a little bit more. Gives it an entirely different sound, and again, makes you look like a badass. But if I fire off the rest of the rounds in fully automatic, as you can see, it really goes for it here. So, really good rate of fire in a tiny little package. Nice and cheap, surprisingly good finish, even if mine is extremely battle worn. And it's not going to put a massive grin on your face, but it just, one, it's something very rare that you see on the field. 2, looks really good. 3, fantastic sidearm, fairly good range. But you've also got the option of going fully automatic. So it's think of it as a much bigger version of a Glock, but a tiny little rifle. Think of it as a mix between the two. If you did want something smaller, so you've got things like the Glock 18Cs, so you could look at varieties like that, or the M93R, which is going to be obviously giving you 3-round bursts. But it's a variety of different things, but something you don't often see if you do something like Vietnam loadouts, really cool. Or if you happen to do terrorist scenarios or whatever, it helps to fit into that look as well. So again, fairly decent feet per second. Very good rate of fire with the stock battery, because I've not done anything to this at all. And for the price that I got it at on Airsoft World for around £80 at the time, because I don't know how much it is now, because I don't know when you're watching it. For the price I got it at, it was an absolute steal, and I highly recommend it to anyone that's looking for a fully automatic sidearm, something badass, or just something cool to add to your collection. But yeah, keep your eyes open. There'll be another Airsoft video review coming up in the near future. It will be for a replacement for my L85, which is going to be an Asia Electric Gun G36C, just because, again, Airsoft World had it cheap. I need a new one, and I can do different stuff to it. So keep your eyes peeled for it. Play safe, have fun, and I'll hopefully see some of you guys on the field. Possibly even Urban Assault. Now take it easy, guys, and keep on airsofting.